language made it on the air, Aaron.
This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warren, Power Tank, and Medical Gear Outfitters.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 321, Christmas Valley Recap.
Tonight, Aaron rigs a competition. Jeremy will finally carry a spare after needing a little help. Ben works on a corner, and Coy works on his pop-up.
Oh, that was way too loud. And welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben. I'm here with my co-hosts, Aaron and Jeremy, along with Coy, and welcome to the show.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
The weekend review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com to get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling on a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road specific kits that meet all of your needs. And while you're there, make sure you use Off-Road Podcast for 10% off. Well, Ben, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I worked the corner, kind of. We had a 9/11 event at the shop. It was a Back the Blue, I think, is originally what it started out as a Jeep run, and they made it kind of an everybody run. Lots of Jeeps, a few Toyotas, and a handful of Dodges. There's a Dodge Ram Club, and they did a 9/11 Memorial Drive. It started off at my shop, so I got to the shop at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was already people waiting to get in to start lining up. There was, I want to say, about 200 rigs there. So it was
Wow.
cool, and all it was a drive. They went, they started at the shop, did like a moment of silence. We opened the shop. We did a lot of business in 2 hours really quickly. There's some free donuts and coffee, and then everybody drove down to what's it called? One of the parks, but they went past 2 9/11 memorials as well. So it was a cool little event, and it worked out great. Other than that, I've just been trying to clean up my garage so I can start doing the head gasket, because I got the shop book time is 17 and a half hours, and that includes replacing the timing chain, which I'm at 236,000 miles, so I should probably do that. Just
And your water pump.
yeah. Oh, yeah, and the water pump. I'm sure there's a few other parts I'll replace while I'm in there.
Yes.
I'll probably do my hoses, my radiator hoses, and a couple other things just to freshen up the engine a little bit, as long as all goes well. What
Spark
about you, Aaron?
plugs.
No, I just did my spark plugs. Remember, they
Oh,
were
that's
like
right. You did. Yep.
they were like concreted
That's
in
right.
there. Yeah, so spark plugs are good. It's just down to the other small fun stuff, not so fun stuff.
Make sure you buy new head gaskets, not used ones though. While you're in there, I know you can pay for a little bit of money, but
Shout out to everybody who's listening live right now. Appreciate you guys out there. Hopefully, guys don't not follow us, because we have Coy on the show with us this week. Yeah, Darwin. No, he has said over and over that a V8 swap is very tricky to do in the 4Runners. If it didn't come with it, they just don't go in very easily. So
It would be easier just to get a whole new 4Runner.
yeah.
I was gonna say
Which-
it's not that hard. You just put yours on Facebook Marketplace and then find a V8 one on Facebook Marketplace. Like, it's actually a lot easier.
Or just buy the V8 one so you can swap your parts.
Yeah, you want to front me that money bags?
No,
There you
no,
go.
thank you.
No,
Well,
actually, the wife has talked about possibly getting another rig. So
What do you mean another rig? What happened to selling your one rig to pay for gears?
yeah, well, yeah. Jeeps keep popping up and other stuff.
my head is spinning.
Yep, that's how I feel. I'm going day by day right now. So
Sounds like Ben's half tempted.
Half tempted.
I think there should be a so the horsepower hour guys, they have all their spiels that they do. I think we should have one that is the half tempted one where we like every week we share an item that Ben is half tempted to get.
I love it. That's a great idea.
You'd be amazed at how my Amazon list goes and a few other wish lists. It's like, oh, this looks cool. Well, Kimberly, there is no more babies. I got that problem fixed. Like it was like
snip, snip,
fixed.
snip, 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 snip.
So yeah, we can adopt.
Yeah. Ben, you asked what I've been up to. I washed my wife's truck finally after going to Christmas Valley. It took a lot of pressure washing to get all the dust and I don't know if you can call it dirt. It was all excuse me, it's all dust. So it was everywhere. Got it mostly clean. The tonneau cover is like stained though from the dust, and there is a little bit of light pinstriping down the side that it'll buff out. Got to figure out how and when to get it buffed out. But
What tonneau
We'll get it.
cover do you have? Do you have a fabric one?
yeah,
What if I remember when I get to work? I'll send you a link to the stuff to make it black again.
back to black. No, I think I just need to rub it more vigorously to clean it up. So,
There.
are you reading the comments, Coy?
I
Some of
am.
these
I was actually
we can't share them
I was
all.
excited to be on the podcast just so Tim could talk trash to me. Like I saw him doing it to you the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, finally, it's my turn. Like I want to see what I get here.
Bring your best. So besides washing my wife's truck, I had the pistol shooting competition in my house that none of you three came to, and it was a really, really good time. We did 5 different shooting drills. I bought one of those timers that you push the button and it beeps, and it keeps
Did
track
you
of
win again?
your shots. What's that?
Did you win again?
Yeah, so I won again. I won my own shooting competition again. So I think that I think I will keep putting these on. I will keep shooting at them, but I won't keep track of my time or be included in the competition. So I'm uh, I'm a little I'm a little embarrassed that I won my own competition, although it was really close. My time was 81 seconds, and the next one behind me was 88 seconds. So the next fastest person was 7 seconds behind me,
Were
That's
you
not that's not that close.
and the next behind him was 1.5 seconds behind him. So they
Yeah,
were really
yeah.
close.
They were really close.
so
Yeah.
you set it all up, right?
I did, but I did zero practice, zero training, zero anything. The only thing I did that morning was like one of the drills was shooting a 3x5 card with your offhand from 3 yards. And I was concerned that it might be too tough. So I was planning to use a half sheet of paper instead of a 3x5 card. And I put one bullet in the gun, stood at 3 yards, shot one time, and I hit it no problem, like as piece cake. So, yeah.
So I have a question. The shooting offhand. So you shot left-handed, I'm assuming, to do that.
Uh huh. Yeah.
So how does this work? Because I'm right-handed, but I shoot left-handed. So would I have to shoot right-handed then, or how's that work?
Well, so actually for that drill, the drill, I can't remember what it's called, but you had to shoot. So there's 2 3x5 cards, and you start with the normal hand that you shoot with, and you shoot until you hit the 3x5 card, and then you switch hands with the gun, and now you're shooting with your offhand, shooting the same 3x5 card. Then you switch hands again, and then you shoot the other 3x5 card. Then you switch your hands again and shoot with your offhand at the 3 or 5 cards. So you have to
You
get
literally
two
just played
two
hot
bullets.
potato with a pistol.
Yeah, hot potato exactly. We did a couple drills that required people to reload part of the way through the drills, so that was good.
Comment every day.
Yeah. Thanks, Brent. Thanks, Brent.
That was a deep pull. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys want to be in on these great comments that you're missing out on every week, join us live. You can check us out on Facebook or on YouTube, and you can also see all these great comments. So, but it really was a good time shooting and having a lot of fun with friends doing it. I reached out to somebody who I know that shoots in actual pistol and rifle competitions, and he got back to me with some information. So I'm going to try to do something where maybe I'll have more, somebody can put me in my place, because I need some more
Competition.
I need some more challenge. So yeah, it's a good time. Jeremy, what have you been up to? What's that, Coy?
I was just say you could actually go to a competition, like a legit one.
Yeah, that's
You probably
that's what I did. I reached out to a friend who has done some of that stuff, and I'm gonna go with him, learn how it goes, and then I'll go to some of those. So
Well, this week, big surprise. I went out to Tahuya again.
that's fun though. That's good.
I know. So I went to
Did
work.
you damage any more any more equipment out there? Any more forestry equipment this time, or did you
I
knock it
didn't
off?
damage any forestry equipment. That's slander. Or is it libel? Is libel written? Yeah, libel's written, slander's verbal.
Okay,
No,
I'll write it down.
I did lose a cap to my power tank monster valves, which was annoying.
Oh no.
Yeah, I thought I checked after I pulled everything off, but apparently I didn't, and so I lost one, which I found out the next day. So, and then he only damaged farm animals this time. Oh wow, Tim. I probably shouldn't have read that one on the air. But I did finally go over to my buddy's house and have him weld up my rear tire carrier, so that way I can bolt it on and actually carry a spare. But I still need to go ahead and paint it and finish grinding the weld down just a tad. But yeah, so it should be pretty good. I'll finally be able to have a spare, hopefully in the next week or so. So now I don't have to sweat cutting a sidewall when I'm out in Tahuya anymore, because that's always been a concern. How about Coy? What have you been up to?
I got back from Christmas Valley and had to do a little work on my camper, wash it up, and Trevor Knob, what are you talking about, bro? And then I didn't make it to Aaron's shooting competition because I got the most overlander vehicle ever. I had a 305 Cat excavator at my house and had to do some damage and take the concrete out and do a bunch of cool stuff with that. So I got some
You gave me
concrete.
that. You gave me that excuse one of the last times I invited you over. I was like, "Hey, Coy, I need you to come over." And your wife's like, "No, he can't come. He has an excavator to drive."
So
I think it's just
occasionally,
you.
allegedly,
Whoa, Tim. Tim is really bringing the heat. Third best tan Toyota. So that puts you behind Ben if you haven't read between those lines.
Except that's not tan.
oh, poor feller's daft. If you can. God, he sounds like a Jeep guy. Yeah, I allegedly can get. Sometimes I have an excavator at my house in between jobs, and if it's available, then I use it a lot.
Is that a euphemism for something?
Are you talking to me or Trevor?
You. Said if you have a excavator at your house, you use it a lot.
I do. I have a lot of bodies to bury, so
Hey guys,
pretty much
we're
wrapped
looking to
it up,
reach
though.
more listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
Hey, can we jump backwards real quick? Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. I found this at the local Buy Mart. It is the Coleman Expedition First Aid Kit, 205-piece set for $22.97.
How many band-aids did it come with? 200?
Probably 200 band-aids is my guess. So it says expanded inventory for longer trips and larger groups. Includes cold pack and razor blade. Easy find system, organized components, durable case, protects contents. So nothing against Coleman. They
No,
make some fun
lots of
stuff,
shit
but
against Coleman.
well, you got to start somewhere. But this kit for $23 is this is a boo-boo kit. That's all this is. I mean, I didn't open it up. I didn't flip over the back to read what's in it, but anything that is that small is not an expedition first aid kit. You guys are lying. So make sure you go over to Medical Gear Outfitters. They've got the legit expedition kit.
I'm looking at what's inside of it. Band-aids. There's a pair of gloves. There's some tape. There's some cold compress. Some antibiotic ointment, and then there's some popsicle sticks in there. So yeah.
Definitely not the skinny medic version.
Yeah.
No. Chris says it's an expedition. It's good for an expedition to the mall, and I completely agree. And Trevor wants to know what the Medical Gear Outfitter discount code is. It is Off-Road Podcast. And I guess a quick side note on that. At my shooting match, I had a whole bunch of different gun-related stickers and stuff that I get from vendors when I buy stuff. And I had a couple Skinny Medic stickers out on the table. And one of the people that was there, I'd never met him before. He's like, "Oh, I got a couple of those stickers on my stuff." I said, "Oh, which ones?" And one of them was Skinny Medic. I said, "Skinny Medic, yeah." He says he buys all of his stuff from Skinny Medic, and so thought that was pretty cool. I got to let Skinny know that I've got a local here, and I told him I'd get him a coupon code, and he's like, "That's great," because I do buy a lot of stuff from him. So super cool that he knew Medical Gear Outfitters.
Yeah, and we designed and built that our expedition kit that Skinny Medic sells, and
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, go check it out on Medical Gear Outfitters, because it is a legit kit. There's like maybe 5 band-aids in it, and the rest of the time, or the rest of this stuff is actual stuff that you'll use in an emergency.
Like if your kids dig a pit and you step in it, you'll be able to use that stuff.
Yes.
Tim, if you use the horsepower hour for a discount code, it actually charges you more.
But if you actually want to leave a review on the Horsepower Hour on iTunes, I'll enter you in for a 20% discount to Sandy M Powder Coat. And if you're too far away to use that, I will send you a box of random crap.
Oh,
literally.
Can I take advantage of that?
Yeah,
absolutely. Send him a review.
Does it have to be 5 stars?
It has to be either one. He says 1 or 5 stars. They don't like anything in the middle.
Can I leave you 5 1-star reviews? Is that the same thing as a 5-star review?
I don't, unless you have 5 iTunes account, I don't think that's going to work. But
I could create 5 iTunes accounts.
I was going to say, you seem like the kind of the guy that would go through the trouble to do that.
I could leave you 5 reviews on 5 different platforms.
You could. I could start screaming obscenities right now as well. I'm just saying, like we could make it even.
We have the power to kick you, man. Just saying.
Yeah. No, actually, we don't.
I have a feeling I could get quite a bit out before you could kick me.
That wasn't me. I think that was Ben.
I think so.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
Look at that. Jeremy, what did you do?
Well, if the viewers will remember, I talked about going on and ordering some patches on the last show because that's my MO. You know, the only time to order patches is when you're recording a podcast, apparently. But yeah, I ordered some patches and finally got some in. So obviously, the patch of the month came. I was surprised that they bundled them because they don't normally do that. But they must have caught my order early enough and realized it was coming here and sent me the rest of the patches with the patch of the month. So, and then this one, No One's Coming to Save You. It's a pretty nice pandemic one. Aaron's got to bring his out now too. Got the Flu Glue patch because, you know, I was waiting too long for it. Finally got it. And then speaking of waiting way too long to buy a patch, it's not a leak. I'm marking the trail.
Finally. And it's a red Jeep. Look at that.
And it's a red Jeep. Although this one, it looks like the sway bar is still connected because I don't think that tire's fully stuffed. And
no, I told Ryan he needs to talk to us anytime he wants to do 4x4 patches so we can give him some coaching.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, so I was just perusing around the site because, you know, I missed that pre-sale on Friday, which sold out really quickly. And I ran across this one.
Yeah, that one's surprisingly not part of the drops that they're doing. Kind of interesting.
Which is pretty cool because if you got the other one and you got this one, that's a good combo.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it is a Ford, but, you know, whatever.
Wasn't that the original Jurassic Park off-road vehicle, though?
No, they had Jeeps and Fords.
Oh, did they? Okay.
The tour vehicle was a Ford Explorer on electric tracks, and then the
oh, that's right.
The Jeeps were the around everywhere else.
That's right.
The news is brought to you by PowerTank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
I've never been so disgusted in my life with what you just did, Tim.
What?
So we gotta like say it on air so people who are listening to this
All
that
right.
can't read the comments after the fact know.
Yeah, he's saying Ford Explorer over 4Runner and over FJ Cruiser now. Like, yeah, like maybe their rear axle for a Jeep. That'd be about it. Otherwise, that thing's gonna like catch fire and roll over and die.
They're gonna blow the Firestone tires and roll.
Yep.
If you're gonna do that kind of burn, you have to like make it believable. Like,
that's
I mean, no one really believes. Like, it's like Ford. Like, are there even Ford Explorers left? When was the last time you saw like a '91 Ford Explorer at a junkyard? Like,
also, I could correct that by saying Ford Explorer is greater than Ben's 4Runner.
No,
that I could get behind.
Still can't get behind that because mine's got more miles than any Ford Explorer still around.
I bet I could find one with less miles. What was that, Coy?
I really love talking trash about Ben and kind of his life in general and his 4Runner. It brings me great joy, but I can't even with a straight face say that his 4Runner is not as, or say Explorer isn't as good as his 4Runner. Or yeah, I can't even do it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna completely change gears here. And instead of doing news this week, we are going to talk about September 11th because that 20th anniversary just happened 2 days ago. Obviously, we don't record on Saturday, so we can't talk about it live the day it happens. But I figured that we could just each recap kind of what we remember, how we heard, that kind of a thing. So I guess since I'm talking, I'll just go first. Since I'm the oldest, I'll go first. Um, I was, uh, I had just woke up and was getting ready for work, and I was actually staying at my fiance's house, at her parents' house, because my house wasn't done being built, and they called me into the kitchen, and they had a little television. Um, and they were showing it on the TV about the towers coming down, and it was before the first one hit. And so as I was driving into work that morning, I was listening to the radio the whole way in, and the second tower came down while I was driving into work, and it was just an absolutely somber day. That whole day at work, I remember, like, there was just no joy. Nobody, I mean, I worked in a lumberyard. Everybody jokes around, everybody has fun, everybody belittles people like we do on this show, making fun of forerunners and Jeeps and that kind of stuff. That's kind of what was happening. And it just didn't happen that day. And it was somber for almost the rest of the week. I just remember there just being no joy at work, which is pretty rare for the construction industry. So that's what I remember. And I remember being pretty upset also. How about you, Jeremy?
Well, so I was 11 at the time. We were living in Italy. We were over there for about 2 years, from basically 2000 to 2002. So we had actually just come home from school when our parents told us what had happened. So, um, and it was a weird time being on a really small island in the middle of the Mediterranean. Basically, the whole island basically just went on lockdown. I think they canceled school for like a week. Um, we lived across the street from the CO uh, of the base, and so they posted like and all the officers' housing, and so they posted like full time guards there. Uh, and just it was weird. And being an 11-year-old kid, it was kind of, you didn't really understand everything that was going on, but like we were, me and my buddy at the time we were like making plans on how to evacuate our family, because we were kind of like into wearing camo and running around the woods and all on the island. But yeah, it was a weird time. How about you, Ben?
Well, I was 13 in junior high. I had woken up that morning, and like my morning ritual for getting ready was eating breakfast and flipping through the news and TV, watching MTV when it had music videos on it. And I was flipping around, and the same picture was showing up on the news channels, and it was the first tower right after it had been hit. Nobody exactly knew what was happening. There was, oh, it sounds like a plane might have hit it. And then you see a plane, and it's like, oh, are they watching the tower, looking at it? And then it went into it, and it was just like, oh, wow. And I had to leave. I went and got on the bus, and I was telling people, and they just didn't believe me. And then we got to school, and we sat in, I think it was history, and my teacher's like, normally we'd be talking about something that's happened. We're gonna watch something happen. So
Hmm.
we were watching it, and there was lots of freaking out in my classroom. I lived right by JBLM, or lived at the time. So lots of kids were like, my dad's gonna go to war, being army brats and Air Force brats. So it was a surreal moment, seeing some of these kids that weren't the type of kids that would cry at school. So yeah, it was something else. And then we got let out early that day, went home, and then it's like as time passed, yeah, a lot of those same kids that were upset that day were also some of the same guys that went off to war to fight in the future, and half of which of those didn't come home.
How about you, Coy?
So I didn't actually find out right away. My parents were kind of an oddball religion, and we didn't have TV or radio. So I went to work. I worked on a farm, mushroom farm, and picking mushrooms. And obviously, everybody there was with the times and told me all about it. And I remember it being pretty crazy. One of the things I remember the most is I was 14 at the time, but I had a lot of friends older than me and stuff, and the amount of guys that were going to join the army and stuff, like, in the next couple days was mind numbing.
I actually, I do remember going to the owner of my company, who at the time I was really good friends with, and he kind of was a little bit of a mentor to me. And I told him that I was interested in joining the military and serving my country, and he talked me out of it. Probably wouldn't have been the best fit for me, but yeah, I remember doing that same kind of thing. Yeah. Well, 9/11 is a big deal to our country, and we don't ever want to forget what it means to us, and the sacrifices that families and people made for our country and for our freedom. So that's why we want to talk about that this week instead of doing our normal news. So yeah, there you have it.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Well, our main topic this week is us talking about Coy and I going to Christmas Valley for his, is it fourth annual, Coy?
I believe this was the fourth one, yeah.
So are we going to hear about how you blew the airbags in your wife's F-150?
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, we didn't go to the dunes on the first day, so you'll have to wait to find out. So I guess we should mention that. So I drove my wife's F-150 down there, brought the whole family, and we pulled our new to us travel trailer that we got this past spring down there because we figured, yeah, I've been there. I've done most of the things. I know the area. Her truck will do fine so that we can bring the camper and sleep well rather than sleeping in a tent out there in Christmas Valley. So we brought the whole shebang with us. So that's why there's talk about my wife's F-150, and if you ask her, it is her F-150. It is not ours. It is her truck. So yeah, so the event, Coy had it planned from Thursday through Monday because it was through Labor Day. Tim, it is better than mine in some ways because it's got twin turbos on it. It's pretty fast. You chirp the tires pretty good. I haven't tried to do a big burnout on it yet. I hope she's not listening. Um,
Just do it when you need to buy new tires.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, Thursday through Monday, I was able to take Thursday and Friday off of work, and um, we left Thursday morning. We just kind of farted our way out there. It wasn't that important for us to get there super early, and we showed up in the early afternoon, and we were the first ones there, so we claimed the claimed the site, and everyone kind of filtered in. And the first rig that I saw show up was a Nissan NV200, which is one of those little super tiny front wheel drive vans that Nissan makes. And I didn't know that they were part of our group or anything. Apparently, it was someone who was Coy's in-laws mail carrier. Is that what it was?
Yeah, friends of my in-laws. Yeah.
Yeah. So they showed up for one night, and somehow earlier in the day they had been doing some overlanding, and they had smashed the oil pan. So they drove it up on some rocks and were beating on it with hammers and JB welding and things like that. So that was kind of funny.
Legit JB Weld?
Yeah.
ABG, man. ABG.
Right. Did you hear about that, Coy?
Oh yeah, I heard all about it. He took the back route from like if you come across from I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess my in-laws mail carrier is better than me. It's highly possible I'm not that good. So yeah, they took the back route from over by Primeville across the Christmas Valley, and it's a bunch of like rutted gravel road, and he was just bombing down some ruts and tapped a rock and it dented it and kind of pushed it in, but where it bolts onto the block, it kind of, because it pushed the bottom in, it pulled that out a little bit, so they had to beat that back in. And then one of the pins that where it lines up, it was dripping around there. The gasket failed a little bit, so they went ahead and JB welded that, I guess.
Tim says at least they're more punctual. I don't know. I'm pretty unhappy with the U.S. Postal Service. So,
and I don't know.
And Darwin,
security guard. I don't know if Tim, being a security guard for a church, really gets to talk too much crap about mail carriers. I feel like mail carriers better than a church security guard. Talk about a wannabe cop.
Yeah.
Like the mall.
Darwin says whose seat position is the number one set for. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the F-150, and seat number one and key number one are both my wife's. They are not mine. So, yeah. So Coy came after work.
The comments are, what do they say these days? Lit, fam.
Yeah, they are definitely lit.
Yeah, I went ahead and worked a full day, came home, and then kind of finished a little bit of packing. My wife and kids rode over with my in-laws that were there, and then I went ahead and headed over, which it took my wife and them a long time to get over because they were flagging because of all the burn damage on Highway 22 going over the pass. So there's a bunch of flagging. It took them like 8 hours to get there or something crazy. And I got there in like 4.5 or 5. So my part on the trip there that was really disappointing, I decided to leave my house without eating to save time, and then I was going to get some food on the road.
How'd that go for you?
Why. Well, I was going to get food at this McDonald's that has a Shell station right next to it in Sisters. And I was like, I can make it to what's the next?
Lapine.
Lapine. So I went ahead and went into Lapine, and the McDonald's was closed. And I had already passed every other place that had any kind of food. And I thought, oh, it's a little bit for the turnoff, so I'll just see if there's something else. And there was literally nothing. And then when I turned onto the highway going to Christmas Valley, it's just rocks and trees and nothing.
So did you eat a tree or a rock?
Nothing.
No.
There was a third option there.
I enjoyed my saliva. That was all I had for dinner that night.
Oh,
Troy cannot judge a taco eating contest. Wow. Robert, I think I gave him second place in a taco competition. And apparently that still stings. Jeez.
Ouch.
You didn't lose. You got second. That's silver. Like, that's still
First
a precious
loser.
medal.
That's the first place loser, though. Man. So Coy actually, the reason why Coy's internet connection is not that great is he's coming from the South Pole, or not the South Pole itself, but he's coming from an Antarctica weather station down there. So you can see out the window behind him. It's all the weather monitoring things.
Aaron, don't help Coy lie to the nice people.
So this one right here, it looks like a wind speed sensor. It actually just checks and sees how much hot air Tim is blowing right now.
Better stop
Yeah.
that contributing to global warming.
Anyways, yeah, Coy showed up to camp late. Thankfully he wasn't hangry though. He showed up, got things set up. We hung out for a while, and I don't think we didn't sit around the fire that night though. No, we did. That's right, we did, because my wife went to bed and we sat around the fire next to the camp, next to our trailer. So
I remember
As-
because I had to get out my pillow vest.
that's right. That's right. Do you have that nearby?
I can grab it real quick.
In case anybody needs to know about it. So Friday we sat around camp for a while, and we waited for the postal service folks to leave. And after they left, we went to hike Crack in the Ground. So if you don't know what Crack in the Ground is, it is a crack in the ground. It's a fissure. It's about 2 to 2.5 miles long, I think, and it is up to like 80 feet deep in some spots. It's pretty cool, literally, because as you go down in the crack, the Earth's temperature is a lot cooler. Man, these comments are just great here. But yeah, Crack in the Ground is really cool. If you're ever in Christmas Valley, make sure you check out Crack in the Ground. It's pretty cool. One of Coy's friends, Robert, showed up, and he had one of those FPV drones, and he was flying it over. So that's the one of the ones you put the goggles on, and you're like flying it in first person view, and you're flying it over the crack, and it literally looked like, because you could connect like a little tablet into the thing so you can watch and see what he's seeing, and it looked like all those movies where the F-16s or whatever are flying through the canyons and stuff. He didn't fly through, he flew over the crack. But
Let me say it so these guys can understand. You know that one part in Star Wars where he drops down in the Death Star and he's like flying and there's turrets and stuff, and he has to shoot the missile in the exhaust port? It was like that.
What if you've never seen Star Wars?
Well, I
Ben,
know
you
guys have. I play to a younger generation here.
I've seen Star
I don't
Wars.
think. Wow. On when we had parked to go walk to Crack in the Ground, there was 8 Honda Monkeys. If you don't know what a Honda Monkey is, it's like a small mini. It's like an oversized mini bike, actually, an oversized off-road mini bike. And Honda just made a new batch of them. I think they're from the 70s, and good night, you guys. We can't even share what people are saying here. So make sure you go over to Facebook and check out the comments if you want to know what is up, what it's like to be lit. 8 Honda Monkeys. They were pretty cool. Apparently these guys were doing, I can't remember if they said 2 or 3 sections of the Oregon Discovery Backroads routes. So that was pretty cool. And Eric, just so you know, we drove on Raven Ridge Lane, the same road that Eric got stuck in the mud in, without getting stuck in the mud.
Was
What?
it muddy at all?
No one got stuck?
No, but no one got stuck. But it was rutted really, really bad in the spot that Eric was at. Like, if Eric would have gone through it in the wet season this year, he would have really, really been stuck. So,
He was pretty stuck last time.
yeah, but he was stuck in like a mud puddle. This is
that's
like
true.
rutted out stuff. So
There's
yeah.
a picture of a Honda Monkey. If you
Oh, there you go. That's a great
watching.
picture.
And then I'll have it in the show notes too. I
Yeah.
would look awesome on one of those because I'm sure I'm
No,
probably
you
about
wouldn't.
twice as big as that gal. So fat guy
Twice?
on a little bike.
I'm pretty sure those bikes have a weight limit.
Man, Ben, you keep having a Schmiegel popping up behind you.
It's his brothers are out of town, so it's just me and him tonight. So
Oh, okay.
back into the closet.
What's Smeagol?
You don't know Jeremy?
My precious.
I don't know. Is this the reference I'm supposed to know? Is this from Star Wars?
No. It's from Lord of the Rings, dude.
You're right. It's from Trek Wars, right?
Trek Wars, no.
What's Lord of the Rings?
Oh, moving on. So,
Jeremy
Coy,
pretend
can you
not to be in- I was gonna
Coy,
say,
can
if
you
Jeremy's
describe
gonna
the
pretend
last?
Can you guys talk over
I'll
each
describe
other
the last-
again?
My internet here at the South Pole is so bad there's a slight delay, which can make it a little challenging sometimes. But I did just sign up for Starlink, so one of these days I'm going to be like connecting satellites and dishes and stations. It's going to be awesome. One of my friends, Garrett, showed up to camp, and he told me ahead of time, "I'm bringing the Pimp Mobile." And I didn't want to know. I wanted to be surprised, so I said, "Sweet, I'll see you there." And he called when he got close, and he had turned when you come to the end of the road, you can turn left or right. Instead of going right, he went left, kind of went off the wrong direction to the Lost Forest. So I jumped on a four-wheeler and shot over there, and I just see this big white boat just bouncing through the woofs. And somehow he got a Mercury Mercruiser, I think it is. It's like a LTD or Crown Vic, 1989, with those trunks that are just, you could fit 10 dead bodies in there without cutting them up. Like just massive thing. And he got it. It had 18,000
is it?
original miles. I think it's a Mercruiser. It's an LTD or Crown Vic, but the Mercury version, whatever that is. Anyways, yeah, he came blasting into camp, just dust flying in this giant thing. Maybe it's not Mercury Cruiser. I don't know. It's a Mercury Crown Vic.
That sounds fun.
Anywho, it was awesome. I really wanted to drive it. I mean, it was in such insanely good condition. It literally had 18,000 original miles on it. I don't even know. He paid like $300 for it.
A Grand Marquis or something? Yeah. Tim is useful for something.
Look, Tim here with the helpful comment. Oh my goodness.
Is that it right there?
So
I don't think so.
But his was actually much nicer. His was all white. No, that's it. This is a little newer than that, I think, but it was all white and had the
that
vinyl
doesn't
top
look
and
as
just beast.
That doesn't look as big as his for some reason. Maybe it's the perspective of the photo.
Picture he has there. I think the picture he has there is a little older version.
Okay.
That's an 89.
Yeah, it didn't he rip off like a little front chin splitter kind of thing?
You know, there was some kind of little front balance or whatever there that got ripped off, but yeah.
For the cause. Yeah. So yeah, we just sat around the campfire again that night, had a good time talking and goofing off, and Sunday rolled around, and Garrett was only there for one night, had to take off, but Coy and I had heard about this overland route from Christmas Valley all the way south to Abert Lake. Coy, you did we lost Coy, but Coy did some research on Abert Lake, and he was telling me that it's a saltwater lake in the middle of Oregon, and brine shrimp grow in it. And so I did some research to just try to find some different routes there, and there's just all kinds of roads that intersect and go crisscross trying to get there. And we ended up getting to the lake. It's about 50 miles off road to get to the lake, basically due south of where we're at. And we went through a lot of different gates and everything. We saw a giant. We only took Coy's rig, Tim. Since it was just the two of us, I rode in the FJ and left my wife's rig back at camp. But we saw giant paw prints on the first part of our trip. I think it was a cougar, which was kind of odd to have a cougar out in the Christmas Valley area, but maybe they're out there. There's a ton of antelope. We saw a wild horse. Coy, can you tell our listeners the highlight of our trip?
Oh, that was definitely the propane tanks, man.
Why are propane tanks so exciting?
Because we found in the middle of the desert, clearly abandoned, about 1,800 gallons. No, I'm exaggerating. 1,600 gallons of propane. It's an old pump station that apparently BLM used to manage, and there's like 3 lease ranges that kind of come together there. There's a well, and they would pump water into these 3 ranges, separate ranges, and it's all kind of still there, but it's just ancient. I mean, there's float valves and all this stuff. The well's still there. There's this shack over this generator that would run the well, and then outside there were 2 1,000-gallon propane tanks, and then we pulled the caps on those and looked, and they were both 80% full.
One was 80, one was 85.
Yeah. So we have a lot of ideas about how to increase global warming with like 9 patio heaters, maybe later this winter.
So was there connections to them? So like, could you tap into them?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
I'm not saying we figured it all out, done the math, and know exactly what we need to do, but we know exactly what to do.
So, yeah, Kevin says he's in. Absolutely. Yeah, our plan is like some sort of winter trip out there, but it's going to have to be at a moment's notice because I don't know how much snow they get out there. And we'd want to do it at a time when it was going to snow so that we could prevent it from snowing in the spot we were camping with propane.
We want to have so many patio heaters that as the snow falls, it looks like it's hitting a force field.
Yes. And you don't have to bring any overland gear. You just bring a cot and a sheet because it's going to be hot where we're sleeping. Where you're sleeping outside, it's going to be hot.
Oh gosh, I could see something going terribly wrong with this plan already.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't
Click,
see how.
damn. Click.
Yeah.
Damn. Click. Damn.
I don't know. Coy's got a pretty good flint striker that we use if you didn't see the video.
I've been corrected. That's a Fiero rod, apparently.
Yeah. Fiero rod. Yeah. Robert wants to know where the connection's corroded. No, because it's out in the desert where it doesn't rain or snow, it's practically brand new out there. So we got lots of options.
Load it up on a trailer and take it home. We
talked about that as well.
First of all, illegal. Second of all, we had a lot of conversations about that.
What do you mean it's not full?
Third, shh. Chris says terribly wrong equals entertaining, and that is absolutely right as well.
Yeah, if you're not involved, it's entertaining.
If things don't go our way, they're going to go our way in a different way.
Yeah, I'm just saying, no great adventure story is like, and it all went exactly as they planned at the end. You know, that's boring.
Yep.
Yeah, but like I'm picturing it's not just defunct out there, and your guys are going to be burning it, and then all of a sudden, somebody's going to come out, or,
So that's
There's
the other
there's
thing. You can see at least a mile in 3 directions, and the road dead ends there. So we have the high ground. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But if they start shooting, you're standing next to propane tanks with a bunch of heaters going.
that's the
I
chances you
don't think
take.
it's going to be the ATF that shows up.
Aaron has won every shooting contest he's ever been in and put on. So I have a feeling that
Yep, this one might be rigged against him.
I will throw Aaron mags. I'll just wait for him to scream, "Throw me a mag," and then I'm gonna throw him a mag. That's my job when firefight goes down, because I'm not a good shot. I throw people mags.
Well, as we were leaving or continuing on from the propane stop, we did see up in the mountains a secret UFO base. So the propane could be for that base, but it'd be a long way. I mean, but maybe that's how they keep the secret UFO base a secret, is by having the propane a long ways away from the base. I'm not sure.
Next week, Aaron and Coy get probed.
After we left the propane tanks, we finally got to the northern point of where the lake should have been, and there was a lot of dust, and we just kept on driving. And I'd have to look on a map, but I bet the lake is probably 10 miles long. And we kept driving, and finally there was some green, and we got to the very end, and there was some water, but I wouldn't consider it a lake by any means. It was kind of odd. And the worst thing that can happen happened. We got to the very end where there was the final gate to get onto the highway, and it was locked. And
Probably to protect the propane.
and there was another
that
gate
was-
next to it. There's another gate next to it that was also locked, and backtracking would have probably cost us probably 2 hours. So we did what all responsible people would do, and we just took their fence apart, drove out, and put their fence back together. So the barbed wire had already been taken apart by somebody in the past, and so it was easy. It was just like the barbed wires were just kind of like hooked and wrapped together very loosely. It was kind of silly that they would have locks on their gates and then a section of fence that was in such disrepair. So kind of funny. Oh, and we found several cow skeletons out there too. So we picked one of them up and threw it in the FJ.
Seriously?
Well, not the
Yeah.
whole thing, just most.
Just most of it?
Yeah.
Do I
Just
want to
most of it.
know
Like,
why?
Yeah. So we our kids kept themselves entertained the entire time by just digging in the sand. That's all they did the entire time, is they just dug holes and shoveled sand and buried themselves in the sand and stuff like that. So after they went to bed, I dug a hole, and Coy helped me bury the skeleton in the sands so that they could find it the next day. And they did, and they thought it was a dinosaur, and it was super cool.
I asked my son what kind of dinosaur he thought it was. He's 6, and he said he wasn't sure. It could be a Spinosaurus, but they're hoping it was an undiscovered species, so they'd be able to name it. So they had high hopes.
Can
Yeah.
I recommend the Cowosaurus?
Cowosaurus. Yeah. We ended up, we grabbed half of the spine and 5 rib bones, and so when we buried it, we just left a few of them poking out so that they would stumble across some bones. And so yeah.
Oh, I like Robert's better, the Kawasaki.
Yeah. While we were gone, and we had almost no service the entire time, and one time we got some service, and it was a text from my wife, and she said, Richard is stuck in the dunes. We're like, okay, we're 3 hours away. And I couldn't even get a text back out to say okay or anything. So yeah, they ended up getting him free. So apparently Richard, here comes the FJ jokes. Richard was driving an FJ in the dunes, and he was following my wife and Coy's wife, who were on quads. And I'm not sure what happened, but he got stuck, and his adventure tracks or whatever knockoff foldable max tracks that he had didn't work
Go
for him.
Treads.
Go treads. Yeah.
Are these the Martha Stewart ones?
No,
I don't know.
These are cheaper. they came with this purple back trailer.
Yeah. Kind of funny. That night we played a game with
Trevor Knob
was that,
sounds
Coy?
like he needs to get off. Oh, Trevor Knob in the comments said sounds like he needs to get off those baby 35s. My friend's Richard's FJ is not on 35s. He's on like 33s, 32s. They're much smaller. Yeah, there's the Go Treads.
Yeah. He said all they did was fold up on him when he tried to drive. Splendid. So we played a game that night before the kids went to bed called Bean Boozled. It's where you have these jelly bellies, and there's 12
Can we
different
back
flavors
up
of jelly
a second?
bellies. Yeah, do it.
There was something that I really enjoyed. We stopped in to get gas. Paisley was the name of that town on our way back from
Yes.
Abert Lake.
Yeah.
It's literally like a one pump gas station with like a aircraft hangar looking shop behind it, and this kid just comes waddling out, and Aaron just starts making comments about how he's moving his whole family from Portland out there. I don't remember all the comments, but it was gold. The kind of comments he was making.
Yeah, I said something about my liberal family and how he couldn't wait to move out to this podunk town and start changing things around here because it was just too redneck. And the guy just was trying to ignore me, but he looked mortified. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. I forgot about that one. So this Jelly Belly game, 12 different Jelly Bellies. You kick a spinner and it lands on a color, and you have to eat that color of Jelly Belly. Well, that sounds good, except for it's either juicy pear or it is booger. And you don't know the difference, or it is coconut or spoiled milk, or it's tutti frutti or dirty socks, or dead fish, or barf.
Is that like the Harry Potter ones?
No.
Yeah, so they took it is. They took the Harry Potter ones and made a game out of it. Another one is canned dog food. Coy got the canned dog food, and I was kind of surprised. I thought he would just be like, yeah, it's gross, but I just finished eating it anyways. But like, he spit that one out fast.
That sounds like a terrible game.
It's not a fun game. I don't know why
No.
I played. There was no, and we quickly found out it's not a 50-50 ratio of these.
No.
They stack the deck?
Oh,
it's about 5 to 1. Yeah.
Oh, 5 bad ones to 1 good one?
It seemed like it.
Wow.
Yeah, I had 1 good out of all the ones I did. And honestly, the best of the worst ones, the one that I could have almost just powered down, was spoiled milk. I was like, yeah, this tastes like spoiled milk, but I've been 3 chugs deep on a gallon of spoiled milk before I even realize it was spoiled, like we've all done that, where your brain doesn't process what's happening until you've had several swallows. It's not good.
Me.
My son also got the spoiled milk, and he threw up.
Can you blame him?
He was barfing in the bushes. No, I can't. I got one that was stink bug flavored, and that was so disgusting. I don't know how they knew what a stink bug tastes like, but now I know what a stink bug tastes like.
That sounds like just the worst game.
It was awful. And the next day, my son's like, "Let's play it again." I'm like, "There's no way we're playing that one again." So yeah,
Of
so
all the people, he's the one that threw up, so I would have definitely thought he wasn't down to play again. But
you'd
he's a
think
glutton for
so.
punishment.
Yeah, and he likes sugar, so
I hope you didn't pay good money for that game.
I don't no. Yeah, I don't know. It just showed up at my house one day. So, yeah. So anybody listening to the podcast, if I offer you jelly beans, be forewarned.
Yeah. You should just buy one of the big Costco things of Jelly Bellies
Just
and
dump them in and mix them up.
yeah.
I thought about just
That
taking
was
them to
my
work
thought.
as they are,
Ooh, that's brutal.
not even mixing them.
Somebody's gonna grab just a huge handful and
Toss them back.
Why am I throwing up? I don't
Yeah.
know.
So that's how we ended our night with terrible jelly beans and burying cow skeletons.
I need to point out these Jelly Bellies, though. I thought I would cheat and put it in my mouth and just kind of taste it before I just chomped into it. They do like a sugar glaze on all of them, so you have to put it's in your mouth and you have to chomp down on this thing before you have any idea.
so
Because I did that, I'm like, oh, it's sweet, I'm good, and then I chomp down, I'm like, oh, it's dog food, never mind.
so what I'm hearing is the way you win the game is you just don't even chomp down on it. You just swallow it and pretend to chomp down on it. And
I
then
had
you're
thoughts
always
of-
winning.
Well, nobody's winning. I
Well-
don't know if you can win. I don't know if you can win the game.
You're at least losing the least, which I feel like means you're winning.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's the morbid curiosity. You have to know if this is the right one or not. Have you ever had coffee that's like super bad, like you're at a Les Schwab or someplace, you get the cup of coffee, you're like, oh, that's the worst coffee I've ever had. And then you just take another drink, you're like, man, this coffee's bad. And you just keep drinking it and proclaiming to everyone around how horrible it is. It's a little bit like that.
Yeah, they're gross. But I figured like I'm a pretty tough guy. I can eat a nasty jelly bean. Well, I'm sure you guys have all eaten that jelly kind of beans before, and when you eat them, like they get stuck in your teeth or in your molars or things like that. And I did the opposite of Coy. I'm like, I'm a man. I every time it was my turn, I just popped that in my mouth and just ground it up. And I'm powering through it. That's a terrible mistake to make because it gets stuck in your cavities of your teeth in your whatever you want to, I shouldn't say cavities, but in the crevices of your teeth. Yeah, and the taste does not go away.
Why
Glutton for punishment. I swear.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to write into the off-road podcast, I will mail you some jelly beans. So yeah, that was the highlight. That was the highlight of our evening that night was nasty jelly beans. Sunday, we sat around camp again and debated blah blah blah, and we finally talked our wives into coming with us to go see the airplane crash site, the A6 Intruder. I had directions on how to get there. I knew it could get us there prompt straight away. My directions weren't the best, but they got us there actually pretty quick. I think we only lost 10 minutes or so, maybe 15.
more successful than when we tried?
Way more successful. Yep.
You didn't go the long way?
No, we didn't circle the drain like we did last time. So
I have to say though, Aaron's memory of what the crash is like is not accurate at all. Because he was like, yeah, you pull up this little hill and you park and then you walk like maybe not even a quarter mile, a couple 100 feet, and then there's the wreck. And we got there and I'm like looking around. A distant ridge. I see a speck. I could have held up my thumb and covered the entirety of the A6 Avenger crash site, like the quarter mile trail, and I'm like kind of looking around, I'm like, where is it? And I'm like, is it that over there? And I can like see it go down and back up. He's like, yeah, it's a little farther than I thought. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's 19 foot.
Whoops. Whoops.
Yeah, that's like at least a mile, probably more.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I popped
The-
over the
the-
hill expecting to see the tail structure somewhere, and I just keep looking around like, where is it? I can see a path, and it just distant on the horizon.
The wives were not impressed.
Not even a little bit.
What do you mean they weren't impressed?
It
They
is.
just wanted-
It is not a mile, Coy. In a straight line, it's 4,530 feet from where you parked to where the tail is. I just measured it on Google Maps.
You're not taking into account elevation gain and fall. Okay, it went down and back up. Okay, that means it's uphill both ways. So I had to go uphill.
Garrett's
and then
Garrett's in the comments. Garrett's in the comments. He says 88 Grand Marquis.
Grand Marquis.
And
Aaron,
Eric,
you say that's not a mile, but did you say it was 4,500?
yeah,
That's like
not a
800
mile.
feet. That's 800 feet shy of a mile.
I know
And
it's not a mile.
And you're measuring to the tail section, but the wreck goes past that. Like we walked more.
I
We walked to the
know.
stuff. So
As the crow flies, it's
You made
Not
me.
a
That's good though. I mean, we needed the exercise to work off those work off all the calories from the jelly beans we ate.
I do not like to be tricked into doing cardio.
Eric wants to know if there was a boot on the fence part. Eric wants to know if there's a boot on the fence post, and it was there.
We took a different route from the boot, though. We saw some other people at the boot, and then saw them posting on Facebook that they were trying to figure out where it was, as they were clearly leaving and we were leaving.
Garrett says he took the same road as the mail carriers. Wow, that's awesome. Always be gambling. That rig was legit. It was awesome. Tim is congratulating you, Jeremy, on your math.
Well, that engineering degree had to be used for something, right?
Yep. There's a picture of the tail section that we took while we were there.
Did you bring a new flag?
Nope, that was there.
No. You said next time. Last time we went, you said next time somebody goes, you should bring a new flag.
I know, and then somebody did, but it wasn't us.
Yeah, but not a big flag.
Yeah. Should have brought one. One thing that was really interesting is that where you park your vehicle up at the top of that hill, there was a sign, and it was telling you no Jeeps or whatever. You can't drive that direction. They had put new stickers on it that said A6, and it had an arrow pointing that direction. And then they had added a second sign that said P38 with an arrow going 90 degrees to the left. And we didn't get a chance to go look because I was wrong about how long the walk was, and I had pushed us overtime on our trip. And so now we have a good reason to go back, because I think that they have the P38 marked better. And Coy, I think, saw the plaque for it off in the distance.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was that. And then we just went back to camp because the ladies wanted to go into the dunes. So it was important that we got back to camp, right, Coy?
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, because they wanted to go into the dunes. So we went back to camp. We didn't take any side trips or anything so that they could go into the dunes. And what did we do when we got back?
We played a game called Turkey My Mayonnaise, Mayonnaise My Turkey, something card game.
We're gonna get trolled so hard for this one.
I knew we were, so I leaned into it. It's a card game where you build sandwiches and stuff. I'm not sure I won somehow first, and then so
It's a card game one of my kids got, and it's kind of been a fun family thing to do. And that's legitimately what you do is you I think my wife is in the comments. She
You
says
build
yes, you did,
sandwiches
and you
for
liked it.
opponents.
Yep, you
Build
built.
sandwiches.
Have you played?
Yeah,
Have
we
you played it,
when-
Ben?
Yeah, we played it when we did the Nevada trip.
Oh, I didn't know we had it all the way back then.
Yep.
But yeah, you build sandwiches. You get points for the sandwiches you make. That's what you do. Trevor. So yeah, we spent the evening rather than going out in the dunes, we played card games, making sandwiches. That's what we did. Had another night around the campfire. I got to use my CVT UFO light the entire time.
if you guys don't stop kicking your mic stands, I'm going to drive to your house. Take
Yeah,
it from
for goodness sakes, who keeps doing that?
Hands up.
I think it's Aaron.
I'm not hearing anything, so it must be me.
Yeah. You keep flicking the spring on your mic stand or something.
Well, no, I'm not flicking any springs. Just now
springs on mine.
I touched the XLR cord or something, but who knows? Yeah, so that was basically the end of it. We got up the next day early and we drove home. And it is exactly 300 miles to my house from where we camped at.
And I was super stoked. We decided to take Highway 58, and I was like, yes, I'm going to go to the Highway 58 diner, the best burger and fries in Oregon, little tiny drive-through walk-up place that was closed.
Oh man, how can you be closed on like a holiday when you're gonna have lots of travelers coming through your small town?
I'm getting angry now. I can't talk about it anymore.
You got food ripped out of your hands twice this trip.
Yes,
once on the way there and once on the way home.
I was denied multiple times.
Yeah, definitely denied. So we ended up eating lunch at probably the worst fast food place that I can think of. So we had Dairy Queen food. Yeah, pretty low on the totem pole of hot fast food that there is. But there's nothing else in the town besides there's a Subway and I think a Thai food restaurant.
There's Thai food, Subway, meth. I don't know, some other stuff.
Some other stuff, yeah. Yeah, the meth was definitely out for sure in that Dairy Queen that we went to. They messed up both of our orders at least once.
They methed it up.
Yeah, they completely took a sandwich off of our order.
They really were messing around, weren't they?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyways, Coy does this trip every year. If you guys want to come out and bury some cow skulls, find some propane tanks, and maybe even play Turkey My Mayonnaise, hit us up. We'll add you to the elite list of people who can come out there with us.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to have to go back to these comments and make sure I didn't miss any after the show's done.
Oh, I'm sure you missed a lot.
Oh, they're good.
Good night. Anything else, Coy, before we shut this thing down?
I think we're good to go, man. I think that covers it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think So Facebook user, I don't know who Facebook user is.
Your wife.
I have a
Um,
suspicion.
it says, "Are you going to have the wives on to tell their version of the story?" So if the
Ooh,
wives
1
had
hour.
their own podcast,
I mean, it's only a 1 hour podcast, and I mean, you do have to pay for bandwidth, so we'd have to really pare it down, I imagine. But
yeah, shorten it up.
yeah, keep
Yeah,
it under 6 hours.
Hey, boys, wait. We can think of this as a time to get a week off and just have a wives show.
I can
I
hear my
I
wife
don't
now.
think I want to take the time off. I think I'd rather do a show than have my wife on here.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh boy. Alrighty. Well, once again, we want to thank everybody for listening in to our show and keeping us on our toes with the comments. This was a great episode having everybody out there. And Garrett says, join next week when Women That Like the Dirt Road podcast. Anyways, we appreciate you guys for listening in.
It has women in the title. It's going to be successful.
Possibly. Make sure you're sharing us with your friends. Help our podcast grow, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening